Welcome to the Code with Jason meetup. Apparently, it is just me today, at least so far. So I'm going to share my screen and explain what I'm going to be doing today. Okay, so I'm building a CI platform. Um, in the last meeting, I was working on, and in the last several sessions, I've been working on this tool to be able to SSH into a specific job. So I'll explain what that means a little bit. So I have this command line thing, where I can do SaturnCI builds, and it shows me my last 10 builds. And each build runs some number of jobs. Right now, it happens to be that each build runs 2 jobs because my parallelism is set to 2. But right now, if I do SaturnCI jobs, there's nothing because there's no jobs currently running. But if there were, we could see the ID of a job and we could run a command like this where we give it the ID of a job and it gives us the IP address of the machine that's running the job so we can SSH into it. This is an intermediary step. The objective is just for this SSH command to put us directly into an SSH console. But I'm working up to that bit by bit. The first step is I just want the IP address. So I'm going to continue to work on this. But right now there's an issue where it's kind of annoying. I'll get some jobs going, but then the test suite finishes and the jobs go away. So I'm going to do something about that. I think I might do this. Um, so I have the script that runs on DigitalOcean. And the last thing that happens is it deletes the job machine. So I think I'm simply going to comment that out. And now the jobs should last indefinitely. Okay, so now that I've done that, let's get some jobs going. I think I can do that just by rerunning this test. Okay, so now if I do SaturnCI builds, I can see my new test that's running here. If I do SaturnCI jobs, I see my 2 jobs here. So I showed you this command. It's a little bit of a problem though, because right now it takes the full UUID of that job. But as you can see in the command line tool, I'm only giving the abbreviated version of the ID. And I only want to have to give the abbreviated version. I want to be able to go like this. But if I do that, I get an error. This is like not a very informative error, but the point is that you can't do this. It doesn't know how to find it. So let's address that issue. Okay, so here's my test for this job API endpoint. And I think I want to add a test case that says something like this. Can be found based on the abbreviated ID. I think I might have some kind of helper for abbreviating these IDs. Let's see. Oh, it's called abbreviated hash. Okay. And it's an application helper. Okay. Now I don't know how to use this. I want to do like this. but that is going to give me an error. Yep, undefined method abbreviated hash. So I'm going to go to Chat GPT. Say, how can I use abbreviated hash in my test? I'm on Rails 7. Okay. Well, I don't want to include it in my entire test suite. That seems inappropriate. It's giving me like two answers at the same time. One where I do it to the entire suite, and one where I like duplicatively redefine the method. And like both of those solutions, I think are pretty dumb. Oh, here it's giving me, yeah, this looks the most attractive to me. Um, yeah. Let's see how that does. Yeah, not too surprising that it didn't work. I don't think that's right. I like this solution best. Conceptually, I like this solution best, but it doesn't work. Extend application. Yeah, this seems dumb. I'm going to resort to the old-fashioned way. Rails use helper in test. Let's say application helper. Hmm. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't care. Maybe we'll just do the extend method. Last I knew. Oh yeah, that seems kind of dumb. Okay. Yeah, let's just see what happens when we do this. I don't even know if that syntax is going to work. And also there. Okay, that actually does work. Okay, and if I'm going to do that like that, I don't want to have to use this temp variable, so I'll do that. Okay. The reason I'm putting it here instead of anywhere else is because application helper is only needed for this one specific test. And if I put it in the global scope, then like it'd be confusing. It's like, do we need application helper for everything or just some specific tests or what? If we put it here, it communicates that it's only needed for this single test. But it passed, which is surprising to me. Okay. We have this partial ID, it's abbreviated ID. Um, oh, okay. We stubbed find. Ha! What a coincidence. Yeah, so we stubbed it here. So let's see. We need to do this in a different way. So I'm gonna go here. Yeah, and actually, we like only, let's see. Why did I even do that in the first place? All right, hang on. Okay, everything still passes. Okay, yeah, what happens when I don't do this? Okay. Well, for one, okay, let's just comment this one out. That was the one I was actually curious about. Okay, so it tries to make that request. Um, I don't remember that being the reason why I did that though. I was like, oh yeah, I stubbed this right here, and then I'm making it so the job class just returns the stubbed one instead of a different copy from the database. Okay, that makes sense to me, but that behavior is not needed for this. Okay, and it always includes the IP address. Okay, it always includes the IP address. Maybe this is going to be a problem. Okay, maybe I don't even want to do this here. Maybe I want like a general abbreviated hash thing. Um, I'm going to say find by abbreviated hash.rb. Okay, require Rails helper, describe finding by abbreviated hash. I realize now that I named my file wrong. Needs the spec suffix. Okay, finding by abbreviated hash. I'm going to run this. It works. I'm going to say job equals create job. We'll run that. Job equals job dot find by abbreviated hash. Then we'll say abbreviated hash job. That, of course, will not work. Say extend application helper. Okay. It says it's not available. Might be because this is a model spec and not a request spec. Oh, wait. Hang on. Whoops. Okay, I think maybe that actually did work. We're just getting a different error. Undefined method find by abbreviated hash. Okay, so we're going to put this on application record. Okay, let's see what we get now. Okay, it passed, but there's no assertion. Found job. Expect job dot ID to equal found job dot ID. Probably get an error, of course. Okay, so we can do job dot, oh, not job dot, find by. And I'm just curious what happens if we do this, or sorry, find. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I'm actually going to ask ChatGPT about this. How would you implement this method? I have some ideas of my own, but I'm curious how ChatGPT would do it. Hmm. No, I think I kind of missed the point. The IDs are UIDs. I don't want to change the DB schema. Okay, I'm just going to stop it. There we go. I didn't realize I could do find by like this. Is that real? What a stupid name. Abbreviated hash. Okay, apparently that works. Okay, so now okay, in my attempt to make the job stick around indefinitely, apparently did not work. Just gonna take a quick look. Yeah, I don't know why. Oh well. Let's start a new build, I guess. Okay. So now let's put this job ID into here. And we get some kind of error. Couldn't find job. Oh, yeah, that's because we didn't apply it to the controller. Okay, so maybe we do need a test there. First, I think I'm gonna just commit this. Oh, I don't want it works. I want something more meaningful. Okay, let job create job. See if this still works. Okay, and then if I move this out of here, does it still work or does it not work? Hey, Guillaume.
Hello, Jason.
Okay, so that did not work, so I'll leave it like this. All right, so Guillaume, I'll catch you up real quick. Maybe you remember that last time we left off by trying to make a command that did like SSH like this. And it worked when we gave it the full ID, but now I'm working on making it so you don't have to give it the full ID because when you run this command, it doesn't give you the full ID, it only gives you the abbreviated ID. And I want to be able to use that abbreviated ID. So that's what I'm working on now. So I have this test that uses this new find by abbreviated hash method, and it uses a like query to find the record. Um, and I should actually add a couple cases. When the ID matches, when the ID does not match, it does not find a record. So I'm going to say blah, blah, blah. And that will fail in some fashion. Yeah, undefined. Yeah, okay. So we can say expect found job to be nil. Or maybe instead, maybe it would be more logical to say expect blah, blah, blah to be nil. I guess I don't even need that because I'm not using that helper there. Okay. And then I feel like I want one for when two IDs match. Hmm. So here I'm going to put create two jobs with the same ID.
Will the find query return only one value, the first one, or it will return a list that match?
Well, what I think should happen, expect an error to get raised. Because if we say, give me this job, and it finds multiple that match, then that's like no good. Because that like defies our expectations. Um, yeah, it would not make sense to return either the two or the set of all of them. Okay, help me with this last test.
My question was more, you have the job dot find by abbreviated hash,
Mm-hmm.
and so inside of it, I, if I remember, you're using find, and I was wondering
Uh-huh.
if find returns only the first one.
Oh, I see. You were just asking about how find works. I actually don't know. I assume that it returns a single one, but I don't know. I mean, I believe it returns a single one. I just don't know how it behaves if it were to find more than one. I think it would probably just return the first one. Okay. Well, I did not ask for the implementation, and also it didn't help me with creating the jobs. You didn't help me with creating two jobs with the same ID. Yeah, I guess two jobs with the same ID is not what I wanted. Yeah, this is no good. No, this is like dumb because it mocks the thing, it stubs the thing that I'm wanting to test, which would render the test pointless. Okay, so I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to say matching job equals create job, job.update. Or no, I'll just do this. ID, job.id. Hmm. Let me see. Let me grab an example of a UUID. Oh, I know where to get one. Okay. Yeah, here's an idea. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Here's what I'll do. Okay. Job ID 07. No, no, no. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we'll just change this to, well, I guess it'll never, oh yeah, this is a completely different thing. This will never match. So that's good. I'll say suffix ID suffix equals that. And we'll say take the first part of this job, abbreviated hash job.id plus the ID suffix. There we go. Okay, and I have to include application helper in here because I'm using the abbreviated hash helper method. Okay. And then I'll say expect this to raise error. Why is this craziness happening? What? Oh, okay. My bad. Forgot the closing parentheses. Okay. Now let's see what happens. Okay, expected exception, but nothing was raised. Yeah, so now maybe it's um implementation is relevant. I hate that it does this. Abbreviated hash. Okay. I'm going to make this a little more precise. Multiple records found matching abbreviated hash. I'm going to put the if on a separate line. Okay. See if that passes. It does. Let's see if all the tests pass. They do. And I wonder if maybe here I want to use tap. Okay. Okay. So I think I can commit that now. Wonderful. Add find by abbreviated hash. Oh, fuck. I didn't mean to commit everything I just committed. It's not that big of a deal though. I just committed that. It doesn't even work anyway. Um, well, I'll just leave it as is for now. Okay. Okay, and how long has this been running? Oh, just a matter of seconds. Okay. Okay, so but again, if we were to use this, it wouldn't work because we're not using find by abbreviated hash in the jobs controller. So I want to add a test that says we can find a job by its abbreviated hash. But if we do that, it's going to want to call job.ip address. Well, let's just do it anyway. Okay, so describe finding by abbreviated hash. I want to say it finds the job. Okay, so we want to change this to abbreviated hash. Extend application helper. Okay, couldn't find job with ID blah blah blah. That is not surprising because we want find by abbreviated hash. Okay, and now we get this because it's trying to find the IP address. And maybe we can just stub this. Let's just see what happens when we do this. Okay, so none of this stuff is needed. We just do this. Okay, and then it makes another request. This is going to get messy fast. So I'm going to try a different approach. I'm going to stub IP address. Um, allow any instance of job to receive IP address and return empty string. Okay, that passes. Wonderful. And does the whole test pass still? No. Hmm. Okay. I'm actually a bit surprised. If we move this like outside, does it make this test pass? No. Interesting. But it passed before I messed with it. Okay. Well, I don't want to have to think about too many things at once. So this test still passes. Um, and I suppose I did change this. If I put that back to the way it is, way it was, does this test go back to passing? Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Is it
Okay.
because in one case you're passing the full ID and in other case the abbreviated ID?
I just realized what it is, Guillaume.
Oh, hmm.
At least I think. Okay. But actually, why am I returning a specific IP address? Because I'm not actually doing anything with it. Okay. And if I'm doing this allow any instance of stuff, is there any good reason not to just use that globally? Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. So I want to talk about allow any instance of for a second. Um, allow any instance of. Hmm. So I've seen something somewhere that says like only use this in legacy code or something like that. There is no explanation as to why. But maybe they figured out that that was like not a very helpful or meaningful piece of advice. Okay. So I guess I don't need to address that if it's not being taught anymore. Okay. So just in case it's not clear, the reason for stubbing allow for stubbing the IP address method is because if we don't stub it, then it's going to make a number of network calls. And we don't want to involve those network calls in our test. We also don't need to use that hash syntax. We can use that hash syntax, which is ever so slightly nicer. Okay, so now if we do SaturnCI jobs, are there any? There are not. Okay. But we're gonna commit this and say make it so job controller can find jobs by abbreviated hash. And side note, we could have just overloaded the find method so that it can work for either a full ID or an abbreviated ID. But I don't think that's a good idea because then it makes the native Ruby find method, sorry, native Rails find method work differently from how people expect. And that can create confusion and bugs and such. I worked on a Rails app once where some of those kinds of methods were overloaded, and I found it to be a nightmare. So I'm not going to do that. Okay, so now if we do SaturnCI jobs, okay. And then if we do SaturnCI job, this job, SSH, what happens? Okay, it returns a bunch of info, including the IP address. Now we can use that IP address to SSH into the machine. Um, yes. And this is how ChatGPT told me to do it. But I need a password, which I don't know. And I don't want to have to know it. So let's see how we can do this instead. I'm building a command that will let me SSH into my digital ocean droplets. Um, I don't want to have to use a password. Help me figure out a more convenient way. But I like don't want the user to have to mess with a bunch of SSH key stuff. So I wonder if I can just have the user authenticate using their um, credentials and then just trust them based on that. I don't want to make the user of the SaturnCI CLI tool mess with SSH authentication. Can't I just let my user authenticate using their SaturnCI credentials and then trust them based on that? Okay, so let's try to go down this path a little bit. SaturnCI client. Okay, so I'm going to change this for a second. I'm going to say puts job IP address. Does that work? Okay, this is actually like annoying that the jobs keep going away, and I want to know why. This is funny. The whole reason I'm doing this SSH thing is so I can SSH into these jobs to diagnose issues. And it would be really handy to be able to SSH into a job to diagnose this issue. But this issue is preventing me from creating the tool that helps me diagnose the issue. So let's see. Deleting job machine. So why does it still delete the machine even though I have this commented out? Hmm. I mean, it could be that the script is not getting copied the way I think it is. Let's see, why did I want to fix this? Oh yeah, because this is just annoying to have to keep triggering rebuilds, but maybe that's the least worst thing for now. Okay, so we kicked off a new one. Hmm. Did I make a mistake there? Okay, what is going wrong? Undefined method IP address for nil class. Okay, interesting. Wait, where was that? Okay, job networking line 5. Okay. Okay. First of all, I'm going to refactor this a little. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. IP address. And then I'm going to make a method called droplet. Okay. Def droplet. And I'm actually going to do this different. Droplet kit client factory. Instead of putting the memoization here, I'm going to put it here. Uh, and actually, sorry, not even there. I'm going to do this def client. And I guess IP address can't be private. That's the one that gets called. Okay. So droplet, and I'm going to put these kind of in the order they're called. Okay. Droplet net networks dot find. Okay. So maybe I want this. Network droplet dot IP address. Okay. And I'm gonna run my command again. Oh, but now it works. Oh, it works now because I think I did it too soon last time. Okay. Okay. Refactoring. Okay, now I want to change the client so it only outputs the IP address. Okay, good. Okay, now I want to do system SSH job IP address. Let's say SSHing into this machine. Okay, I made some kind of mistake. Can I not use double quotes? Double quotes there? Oh, maybe it was this that it was complaining about. Oh yeah, it totally was. Okay. Okay, great. Then it asks for a password. Oh, and I want to do root at. And actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to say command equals that, and then system command puts command. Okay. Okay. So the reason I did that is because I wanted to be able to go here and say, help me change my method so it actually SSHs into the machine. Wow. Interesting. Hmm. Okay, private key path. Okay, let's figure this out. Generating blah blah blah. Okay. Hmm. What if we generate the SSH key dynamically and put it in temp? Okay. Suppose let's take this one step at a time. Um, that's the command. Before we do that, we can make this file. So I don't want to call it just SaturnCI.rsa because it's like per job. So maybe we can do this. I know. Okay, so we'll call it job ID, and we'll put it in temp Saturn CI. And first, how do I make your temp Saturn CI? File utils. Okay. Okay. I'm also going to say temperature name equals temp Saturn CI. Okay. Let's see if that creates a file. Okay. Okay, it seems not to have created a file, but at least created the directory. Okay. Here's what it wanted us to do next. SSH keygen, blah, blah, blah. Key dot path. I don't want to call it just key. That's like not easy enough to understand. What is this? It's a file that contains the RSA key. Let's call it RSA key file. And I see that it's 11:30, so I'm going to wrap up shortly. RSA key file. Okay. What happens now? Whoops. It's taking a while. Okay, I do see an RSA key file there. It looks like I want to instead of snake case, I want to use kebab case. But why does it just hang forever? Is it because of this? Yeah, I'm actually gonna do this. Okay. Oh, and now there are no files in there, which is surprising to me. Whoops. Okay, and now it just hangs forever. So it shows me that method called does, that is what's making it hang forever. Is it waiting for confirmation? Interesting question. Perhaps. It asks for key phrase. Key phrase. Oh, yeah, do you just mean like in general when that command is run, it asks for a key
Yeah.
phrase?
If you're doing on your terminal, I think it will ask you for something like a password to be sure no one else can use.
I see. So let's try this. It's weird how oh, I guess since it's a temp file, that makes sense. Okay. So we'll do like touch key.rsa, and then we'll say SSH keygen -t rsa-b 4096, whatever that is, key.rsa. Oh, interesting. Yes. Okay. Okay. Interesting. So what if we, instead of key, let's do like a non-existent file name? Okay. So what if we actually don't do this and we say RSA key file name equals job dash job ID. And maybe let's throw something random onto the end of it too. Oops, secure random dot hex. Okay. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. I meant to do this. Okay. Yeah, I have to require secure random. If I did that right. Okay, RSA key file, yes. RSA key file name. Okay, so now if we go to temp SaturnCI, oh, it's not there. Oh, hang on. Yeah, it's right here. Okay, so now we have these two things, and I'm guessing there's some stuff in them. Uh-huh. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, so the file name, let's see. Okay, RSA key file path equals tempter name slash RSA key file name. Okay, so at the start, this directory is empty. Then after running this, I would expect that there's something in that directory, which there is. Wonderful. Okay. Okay, and this code is in desperate need of cleanup. We'll do that soon, but maybe not today. Okay. Now what we want next is to start the SSH session. I had no idea you could do this. Again, we'll say hostname equals job IP address. Username equals root. Keys equals RSA key file path. Oh, interesting. I guess we'll leave that there just for whatever. Okay, uninitialized constant net SSH. Yes. Okay. Not load such file net SSH. Okay. Passphrase is skipped thanks to the in. Interesting. Okay. That is surprising. Let's do Ruby net SSH. Is this like a gem? Is net SSH a gem? I don't want to use any gems. I mean, I guess I will if I have to, but that's not my preference. Let's see if I can beat it to the punch. Okay, so command equals username at hostname. Oh, and I'm going to have to specify the key. Root at IP address. Okay, let's fix this. Username, hostname. And I do like SSH command. I'll take it up on that suggestion. Okay, now let's see what happens. Okay, RSA key file. Yeah, that's actually different. Okay. Yeah, still asking for password. Okay, so I'm going to show it this. I'm going to show it this. Why is it still asking for a password? By the way, is this job even real? No, it's not. I think the public SSH key needs to be added in the job container. Oh, okay. Okay, Guillaume says Guillaume, ChatGPT says you're correct. Okay. So I guess I need to do that when I create the job. And by the way, I realized something. I think maybe my thing is working. When I commented out the thing that destroys the jobs, it's just well, yeah, the job is no longer active, so it's not being shown, even though there is a even though there is still a droplet. I'm gonna go in and check. Oh no. Okay. All right. I said oh no just because of the expense. Uh-huh. Let's well, I'll do this later after I stop recording. Okay. So when I generate a droplet in the beginning, job machine instance, job machine request. Yeah. Okay, here's where we create it. Maybe we can do it here in create. Upload the public key to DigitalOcean. Okay. Yeah, I'm guessing this will be like more than we can bite off in the remaining time today. Yeah. So let me leave a comment for myself for next time. Yeah, SSH keys. Okay, great. Oh, it already has a SSH keys line. It's just blank. Somewhere in here, we need to create SSH keys. Okay. So now next time I pick this up, I can see that stuff. And I suppose I can even link myself to this chat GPT conversation. Great. So that'll make it nice and easy to pick up next time. I guess we need to generate the keys, then like spawn the droplet or whatever with those keys baked into it. And then when we SSH into that machine, we can use the same key. And then we might finally gain this SSH ability. Okay, that is all for today. Dear viewer, I'll see you later. Dear Guillaume, I'll see you later.
See you next time.
Bye.